This program is brought to you by First National Bank of Botswana. Welcome to First Issues. Meet Kagiso Morokotso, the founder and managing director of Morox Properties, a company specializing in estate agency, property valuations and property management. Before this, he was a 9-to-5er who held such roles as group asset manager at notable property management and agencies in the country. When it was time, he left corporate to become an entrepreneur in the real estate space. This is the part where we follow such stories, unearthing tales of motivation, sacrifice, perseverance, and sheer will to conquer the perils of entrepreneurship, in hopes that these will inspire others to do the same in their own respective entrepreneurial pursuits. From early on, Kagiso knew his future was in real estate, which is why he holds academic qualifications in the discipline, having graduated with a diploma and bachelor's degree in real estate. With other related qualifications in the bag, he is currently pursuing a PhD in project management, a testament to the passion he has to play effectually in real estate in any and every way possible, driven by his motto: work hard, pray hard, and wait your turn. Still, what exactly is it that's giving Kagiso the motivation to pursue real estate with this much vigor and dedication? And the end goal, what opportunities in this space is he looking to explore further as an entrepreneur?
Entrepreneurship and how did I come about it? It's definitely issues of just the pressing reality of the setting in which we are brought up into. My father has always been industrious as we're growing up, selling cabbage, anything that could be sold as fresh produce in Mochudi. So, and I would always compare his way of life with the way in which people who went to work from 7 to 8 would fare. And I didn't know how to pen it down until I was already deep in the corporate sector. Then it dawned on me that no, this is not what I want. So then the thought of enterprising and just cultivating my skills came into mind to start considering offboarding the corporate and the employment sector. Let
us go back to being deep in corporate. You used to actually work for some notable real estate management companies, right? You're a 9-to-5er, basically. Was there a time during this journey of entrepreneurship that you thought, you know what, maybe I had this idea, I thought I could do it, but now I can't, I should just go back?
The truth is, every month end, when you're writing up the payroll, that idea comes to mind, especially in this harsh reality of the economics of our country. So the thought does come to mind when you're about to make really drastic decisions for your employees who depend on you every month. So it's a month-to-month, sometimes day-to-day, hour-to-hour, cutthroat decision-making affair. You know, when you've left the corporate world, not because you were booted out or you were unethical, but it was by choice. It always definitely when you hit the pillow, you think like, oh, I wish I could like definitely be sure of a salary, you know, every 23rd or so. So entrepreneurship is cutthroat, and it always comes to a point of saying, do you want comfort or do you want to hit the target?
Speaking of hitting that target, you decided to hit the target of leaving corporate and starting this enterprise, right? You just dived headfirst. But there in that journey, what is it that you were disillusioned about entrepreneurship? What is it that made you see that maybe the ideas you held about entrepreneurship are not necessarily what happens within entrepreneurship practically?
The truth of the matter is there is a lot of mirages when you are not an entrepreneur. The first mirage, the first ideology that is false, there's a difference between being self-employed and working for yourself and being an entrepreneur. And a lot of us actually have to start at debunking the difference. A lot of us us are actually self-employed. We were still employees to a system. But entrepreneurship is trying to strive to exploit opportunities and for you to look for sustenance and growth and persistence in the same pursuit of being profitable. Ultimately, the target is profitable. So the first mirage that I had to encounter is actually being able to define entrepreneurship and find myself in the cognizance and cognitiveness of being able to I affirm that this is my weakness, and in the process I need to onboard these people to assist me in the weakness. It doesn't make me a less an entrepreneur to actually acknowledge that I'm wrong. So that affair is one thing that I had to really take away and actually make peace with, that I'm not a superstar, I'm not a rock star. I need a team of people to help me in this.
So with that team, what is it that you're most proud of in this journey as an individual who is an entrepreneur at a very young age, might I add?
I'm proud of a lot of things. I'm proud of coming up with a concept. My surname is Morokotso, and I just thought of Morox just because I was called that name in football, and our family is associated with that. And for me to come up with a brand, a marketing brand that identifies now, we are a little under 4.5 years in existence, and we are pushing and shaking and making disruption in the real estate industry. So I'm proud of the ability to belong, to be available, to be persistent, and the ability for me to just ultimately create a brand that is worth reckoning with nowadays in the real estate industry.
bitsa motho gore motho a leke mangwala e go duela metsi.
Mama, ka re male jana ha o tlhoka le go tsamela kgakala gore go duela metsi. FNB re diretse tiro motlho.
Senthe.
Ma kwa go marekisetsong a ile gore ana le tshwala FNB Cash Plus. So se tlhokanyela ke o mang wa gago mo tirisong le reference number e bon dinomoro tse diriswang go ruragatsa dituelo tsa gago.
FNB what?
FNB Cash Plus.
Madonna makante ke ngontso sampolele ka mananeo a FNB ya Cash Plus.
La ha re le nna ke gone go utwang ka dona ebile ke ne ke sa dumele.
Deposit cash and coins, withdraw from e-wallet, make cardless cash withdrawals, buy prepaid airtime and electricity, pay bills such as water, electricity and many more.
FNB. Dona. Nyawa ena ke ra sa thara. Mpare motiki. Na ke ra go motho hela mamarapedi o tola skontere hela o bua go semosong wa go duela semosong manane wa FNB Cash Plus.
FNB, how can we help you?
Thank you so much for staying with First Issues as we continue our conversation with founder and managing director at Morox Properties, Kagiso Morokotso, understanding his journey as an entrepreneur in the real estate space. Let us now focus on Morox Properties, right? This is a real estate management company, etc. You deal basically with everything to do with real estate. What have been some challenges that you have had to deal with in this undertaking?
The greatest challenge we find in real estate is the challenge of building enough confidence with yourself and amassing respect in the industry, especially as a young person. Sometimes being in a boardroom of people who just factor age into everything. So it's been the greatest challenge of existing. The greatest challenge was really just breaking into and breaking through the barrier of age as a stereotype and breaking through the barrier of in being an indigenously schooled. My first degree was from university locally, and competing with international lads and lasses has been one other real milestone. So it's worth reckoning with and something that I really had to face.
We learn along our journeys individually, right? And usually that happens when we go through challenges, problems. So from your challenges, what would you say has been a key takeaway for you?
The first one was that persistence. I've learned how to be resilient It's sometimes entrepreneurship is a long game. I often tell my wife that entrepreneurship takes a certain sense of insanity. You need to be a bit insane for you to think that we're going to get out of this, and hope, and keep on investing and keep on having hope. The next one is actually a clear understanding of self. A lot of us fail at business simply because we don't want to admit that we have certain shortages or weaknesses, and our businesses fail, and our entrepreneurship journey fails simply because we are not quick to admit where we fall short and how we can supplement that. Cognitively, we need to do that. And so one greatest lesson is that I've learned quickly to pick that there are things I can do, and those I do them with all I can, and those I fall short on, I need to procure those services.
Let us talk about the future. Where are your sights set for it as far as Morox Properties is concerned?
Morox Properties has metamorphosized into a lot of other brilliant business opportunities and cultures. You'd note that we trade in the traditional real estate agency, particularly brokerage, management, valuations, consultancy. We have a sister company that does maintenance, and we are into really exciting categories: smart homes, building management systems, and trying to think into being ecologically friendly. As ESG is one of our targets. It's called TKM maintenance. We're really doing wonderful things there. It's growing places. We've recently launched another sister company that complements Morox, which is into research and actually training, because I do facilitation and I teach real estate. So I'm trying to write some programs that I see as niches in the market. We ultimately want to pride ourselves in becoming a built environment hub, offering all plethora of services, whether it's civils, whether it's architectural, engineering. So it's quite exciting, really, to be with Morox Properties right now.
Well, we're excited for you. We can't wait to see what you share with us in the future. But to end our conversation and land this plane, you are a lecturer after all, right? So what words of wisdom around real estate entrepreneurship do you normally share with your aspiring real estate professionals in the lecture rooms?
The greatest lesson that I would like to impart with anyone is, let's always ask ourselves why, whether it's an ambition to jump into real estate in itself as an investment. The why, because it will guide your process of appreciating the whole housing value chain. And in that light, I speak sometimes to investors and ask them, just let's stop buying for emotional reasons. Let's stop being sentimental. Yeah. If it doesn't make investment sense, sell it. If it's a farm in Kachikau and that you inherited and doesn't make sense, sell it. Leave the sentiment. If it's a house in phase 2, which is a 2.5, and it's not making you money, sell it. Get something that, for real estate, it has to make sense. Let's be unapologetic about going to real estate investment for the right reasons. But the education behind what I'm saying right now is actually understanding yourself, having the right definitions of investment, capital gain. Understand those terms, because a lot of us read motivational books, read this nice testimonies, bios by Kagiso, and think that we woke up to this. So the why, and actually the time you should take to actually educate yourself, edify yourself around the decisions that you make is quite important, especially in real estate, where the norm, where the myth is that anything you touch, as long as it's land, it appreciates every year. So we really need to demystify these myths and these fallacies and these mirages of thought, because a lot of us are getting into this for the wrong reasons. We lose a lot of money. I mean, it's a high facility, it's a high transaction industry. I've seen my sisters, my aunts, my grandmothers lose their retirement money, lose their pension money, lose their inheritance simply because of not studying their why and actually not edifying themselves enough to understand this.
Believing in yourself to the point of delusion is a mindset that every entrepreneur needs to adopt, at least according to Morox Properties Managing Director Kagiso Morokotso. It is this way that you'll have the motivation and discipline to achieve whatever goals you've set for yourself. And with that, we go for commercial break.
Bitsa motho gore motho a leke mangwala go duela metsi.
Mama, ka re male jaanong ga o tlhokane le go tsamela kgakala gore go duela metsi FNB re diretse tiro motlhofo emma kwa ko marekisetsong a e leng gore a nang le tshwao la FNB Cash Plus se se tlhokanyela ke o mang wa gago mo tirisong le reference number e bong dinomoro tse di dirisiwang go rurigatsa dituelo tsa gago.
FNB what?
FNB Cash Plus.
madona makante ke ngwe ntse o sampolele ka mananeo a FNB ya Cash Plus.
hela ha re le nna ke gone ke utlwang ka dona ebile ke ne ke sa dumele
ka bile ke heditse.
Deposit cash and coins, withdraw from e-wallet, make cardless cash withdrawals, buy prepaid airtime and electricity, pay bills such as water, electricity, and many more.
E re bolokile FNB.
Dona nyawa ena ke ra sa thara mpare motiki na ke ra go motho hela mamarapedi o tola skontere hela o bua go semosong wa go duela semosong manane wa FNB Cash Plus.
FNB, how can we help you?
Welcome to First Issues. A lack of access to credit for entrepreneurs continues to be one of the biggest challenges facing the SME sector in the country. As people with goals, it is obvious that funding for small companies ensures that they can maintain working capital, invest in growth opportunities, and safeguard overall financial health. In short, they can become self-sustaining economic engines. Well, one of the local commercial banks has a solution for just that, a solution called Scored Credit, meant for the not-so-sophisticated entrepreneur who's looking for funding but does not have the same financial standing that larger companies might have. This, however, has proven a bit of a struggle, as most do not have the level of revenue that qualifies them for credit from financiers. They do not have the type of financial records that much larger entities have, and so they are considered high risk. So what do? To fully understand this product, we have Senior Credit Analyst Kagiso Morokotso to discuss. Kagiso, thank you so much for coming on First Issues and affording us your time. Today we're talking about solutions for entrepreneurs, and today's solution is Scored Credit, which is a product that you offer here. Let us start first by understanding our entrepreneur at home. What is Scored Credit?
All right. Thank you for having me to speak to Scored Credit. So this is basically a financing solution. It's based off one's account conduct, or we call it behavioral conduct, right? Do you honor your debit orders on time with other financing institutions or other retail credit facilities that you have out there, your insurance installment and such. So then with that, we are able to score you and say, from the model, this is how much you qualify for, right? This was created as a cry from Botswana, just to say we want fast and easy access to funds. What can you then bring to us, or solution for us? So this was basically there to say, we've got a quicker way, financial say. The only two things resolution, the tax clearance. I get to that.
I don't know if you have answered my next question, but maybe as a matter of reiteration, you could, elaborate further on who qualifies for this product and how can they access it?
Okay, so basically, one needs to be banking the First National Bank, right? And they need to be banking with us or having banked with us for over 12 months. This gives an opportunity for proper assessment to be done, to see also when the model is calculating affordability, that you are able to afford what the system is going to offer you. If your turnover is less than $1 million, we've got you covered. There is a smart spender credit card facility that can help boost your cash flow. That goes to a maximum of 50,000 pula to help your business grow. And those that turn over $1 million can then afford your West Bank facilities, your overdrafts, and term loan. And I think it's very important that I add that this product, or solution rather, is not for startups. In that, like I said, you need to have been running or operating for over 12 months. This also gives a view of whether you can afford or not, which at the end of the day is our bottom line. We don't want to overly commit you to something that you cannot pay.
So we know the benefits, right? But what could be some limitations that our entrepreneurs at home watching this segment need to be aware of that, that are associated with this solution?
Okay, so for scored credit, like we said, it's behavioral based, but at the end of the day, we do conduct our credit checks. That is the listings. Are you also honoring those payments accordingly outside? Should we have scored you and there was a positive outcome from it to say you can afford such and such an amount, but we find that these credit checks are also adverse, or you have a listing in place, unfortunately we cannot help without the provision of either a clearance letter or a settlement letter, should I call it that, from those specific institutions that had offered you credit. And I would say the other limitation would be that like I said, there is a maximum amount that can be provided. Should you want anything higher, you would then have to go through our judgmental process of assessing creditworthiness.
If you're a small enterprise owner who does not have complicated financials for your enterprise, you need not worry, as scored credit could be your solution to accessing funding. All you need to do is knock on the right door and ask for help on how to access this solution. We hope you've had a restful and safe Independence holiday break. And with that, we've come to the end of tonight's installment of First Issues. Until next time, good night. This program is brought to you by First National Bank of Botswana.